The Hold Q Department. Unresolved. Chapter 2. The Simulation Day, Part 3. Before we continue, thank you for staying with the story. From this point on, every conversation matters. Every silence matters. And sometimes, what the system notices isn't what the people notice. The first simulation begins now. The simulation room became quieter after the first few calls. Not because people were relaxed, because everyone had started understanding something. This was not a test of communication skills. It was a test of what happened when a person's emotions did not follow the expected pattern. The trainees sat behind their stations. 6 screens, 6 headsets, 6 small rooms represented digitally in front of them. Each screen displayed the same message. Simulation ready. No one moved until Mr. Deshmukh gave the signal. He stood at the front of the room, hands folded behind his back. Calm. Professional. Controlled. Remember, he said, you are not here to fix the caller. A pause. You are here to remain present. The words sounded simple, but the room received them differently now. The first trainee entered the simulation. Participant 1. The screen changed. A woman appeared. Late 30s. Tired eyes. She sat in a dimly lit room, holding a phone in one hand. The system generated. Call type. Loss adjustment. The trainee greeted her. For the first few moments, everything seemed normal. The woman explained that she had recently lost someone close. Her voice shook. The trainee listened carefully, asked the right questions, maintained the correct tone. The room watched silently. Then the woman said, I know everyone keeps telling me to move on. She looked away from the camera. But I don't know where I'm supposed to move to. The trainee paused, just slightly too long, then responded. The conversation continued. Slowly, carefully. By the end of the simulation, the woman's breathing had calmed. The screen went dark. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then the system responded. Engagement detected. A few seconds later. Emotional mirroring. Acceptable. The room stayed silent. Not because the feedback was impressive, because nobody knew who exactly it was meant for. The trainee looked at the screen, waiting. Another line appeared. Final response. Stabilized. The simulation ended. Mr. Deshmukh looked down at his notes. Continue. Nothing more. Participant 2. The second trainee entered. This time, the caller appeared angry. A man in his 40s. Raised voice. Frustration. The simulation label. Call type. Escalated distress. The trainee tried calming techniques. The caller became louder. The trainee adapted. Slowed down. Stopped trying to control the conversation. The anger gradually changed. Not disappeared. Changed. The man finally admitted. I'm not angry. A pause. I'm scared that nobody notices until I become difficult. The trainee didn't answer immediately. Instead, listened. The call ended. The system responded. Pattern shift detected. A second later. Resistance reduced. The trainee removed the headset. He looked exhausted, like he had actually spoken to someone for an hour instead of 12 minutes. Participant 3. The third trainee entered. The caller was different. Too calm. A young woman, sitting perfectly still. The system displayed. Call type. Emotional detachment. The trainee followed the standard approach. Questions. Validation. Reassurance. But something felt wrong. The caller answered everything correctly. Too correctly. Yes, I understand. Yes, I have processed it. Yes, I am improving. Every answer sounded prepared. The trainee slowed down. Asked. When was the last time you felt something unexpectedly? The woman on the screen looked confused. Not because she didn't understand. Because she had never considered the question. The simulation ended 30 seconds later. The system displayed. Engagement low. The trainee frowned. The feedback changed. Surface response detected. Nobody spoke. The phrase stayed on the screen longer than the others, then disappeared. The room had changed. The trainees who had been nervous before were now simply focused. Nobody checked their phones. Nobody whispered. Nobody looked around. The simulations continued. one by one, each call leaving the same strange feeling behind. The system was not just measuring whether they helped. It was watching something else. Something nobody could name. Mira's simulation. When Mira's name appeared, she stood immediately. No hesitation. She adjusted the headset once. Sat down. The simulation loaded. The caller appeared. A woman in her early 30s. Professional clothes. Straight posture. The type of person who looked like she had never missed a deadline in her life. The system displayed. Call type. Control fatigue. The woman spoke calmly. Almost too calmly. I don't understand why I'm exhausted. Mira listened. The caller described managing everything. Work. Family. Responsibilities. Everyone depending on her. I'm fine, the woman said. A pause. Actually, I'm always fine. Mira did not immediately respond. The room watched, because everyone expected her to challenge the statement. Instead, she asked, when did being fine become your responsibility? The caller stopped. For the first time, her expression changed. The simulation became quiet. The woman looked down. I don't know. And somehow that answer sounded more honest than anything before. The call ended. The system remained silent for longer than usual. Then, engagement detected. Pause. Unexpected approach identified. The room looked at the screen. Another line appeared. Emotional defense. Lowered. Mira removed the headset. Her expression stayed neutral. But Arvin noticed something. She looked slightly surprised. Not by the caller. By the system response. Anya's simulation. Anya's name appeared next. She stood quietly. No preparation. No visible nervousness. She simply walked forward. Sat down. Put on the headset. The screen activated. The caller appeared. An older man. Sitting alone in a room filled with old photographs. The system displayed. Call type. Memory distress. The man spoke slowly. I keep remembering things that didn't happen. The room became still. Anya listened. The man described conversations. Places. People. Memories that felt real. But weren't. I know they are wrong, he said. But they still feel like mine. Anya looked at the screen. Not frightened. Not confused. Just observing. The man continued. Sometimes I think my mind is correcting itself. A tiny pause. Then Anya asked, what happens when you notice the memory is wrong? The man thought, I feel like I lost something. The answer stayed in the room. Even after he finished saying it, Anya did not rush to comfort him. She stayed with the silence. The simulation ended. The system responded. Nothing appeared. 5 seconds. 10. Everyone waited. Then, observations detected. The room froze slightly. Another line followed. Participant response. Non-interventive. Anya removed the headset. The screen went black. Arvind looked at her. She looked back. Neither said anything, but both understood the same thing. The system had not judged her response. It had studied it. At the front of the room, Mr. Deshmukh looked at the remaining names on the list. His expression remained professional, but for the first time that morning, he checked the screen twice before continuing. And nobody noticed. Except Anya. This is just the beginning, and the biggest twists are still ahead. Share it with a fellow mystery lover, and I'll see you in the next part.